What's going on, folks? Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media. You are sitting down at the Tigers Den, where it's all Memphis Tigers all the time, right here Wednesday nights on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. As you can see on the screen there, for those of you watching live, appreciate everyone watching and listening as we throw a live feed into the podcast that we do every week. You can find us over on all your podcast listening, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeart, and more. 4-Star Sports Media Network is what you're looking for. And it's there every episode that we have. I think they run back through, I want to say like February, something like that. But we got a plethora of shows right here on the network. We've got this, the Tigers Den. We've got Inside the Lines with Jonathan Sturdivant. It covers Memphis high school preps as well as national sports stories as well. You got Inside the Hog, or I'm not, you've got Hogs Happy Hour that is that runs Thursday nights. Blake Hogue, Ashton Wilson, all those guys do an incredible job. Inside the Lines, like I was just talking about, though, Jonathan Sturdivant does an incredible job. His guests, week in, week out, are incredible. You've got Conference Crunch, which is where sports meets speed, runs through college football from a national perspective. Tonight, we're going to talk regional perspective. Thank you, everybody, watching and listening. Once again, my name is Wes Pruitt. I'm the host of the show. Tonight, we're talking Memphis football specifically as we break down the week 3 opponent, back-to-back road trip. If you listened to the show last week, excuse me, you heard us discuss Georgia State. We told you last week that game was not one to take lightly. When you go back and look at the tape on that game, I thought Memphis played really well. This week's going to be a little bit different test. Troy, back-to-back Sun Belt opponents. Memphis has done really well against Sun Belt opponents as a program. But you look at Troy, it's a little small. Troy, Alabama is tucked away in Alabama. It's a little small town in Alabama. But this team has a lot of pride behind it. We're going to get into who they are as a program, what they do that can give Memphis problems, and much, much more. We'll go through stats and more. But to start the show, as we take off, let's talk about Southwest Airlines. Tiger fans, don't miss a single snap of the action. Southwest Airlines gets you to Memphis and wherever the Tigers are playing fast and affordably for that big-time college football showdown with flexible flights and free checked bags. Focus on the tailgate, not the travel. Visit southwest.com today to join the roar. You see numerous logos around me. You'll be hearing more about those brands here soon. Let's set the stage. Troy, Alabama, it's not just another Sun Belt program. Since joining the FBS in 2021, they've racked up 8 conference titles, 6 in the Sun Belt since 2018, 6 bowl wins, 74 victories since 2016. That's the 6th most amongst G5 programs. They're 71-31 at home since 2007, trailing over only Alabama and Auburn in the state. I'll say that again. They've won 74 games since 2016. They're 71-31 since 2007 at home. This is not an easy place to play. If you look at it from a historical perspective, Troy, Alabama has knocked off many, many potent programs. What they do is they have a truth board. It's a tradition that they have there. There's 1,622 nails hammered every summer for weight room goals. What this is it breeds connectivity with the small town football field. That not an easy place to play. That place is going to be packed. That area of Alabama loves their football, in case y'all didn't know. But you look, Jared Parker is back. Year 2, he's got coordinators back with him too, Sean Reagan and Dante Wright, as well as strength coach Darrell Bauer. All returners. Only one of 4 Sun Belt staffs that has that kind of continuity to it. Yes, they went 4-8 last year. but their coaches historically have a big bounce back year in year two. I'm talking about Troy's coaches. Think back. John Summerall, 12-2, 11-2. Neil Brown, 4-8, 10-2, or 10-3, 2015, 2016. They're 1-1 right now. They did beat the brakes off of Nichols. They lost a tough one on the road at Clemson where they battled. But they only held Clemson 316 yards. That's the most fewest by a non-Power 4 at Clemson since 2001. So as we talk about the program identity, who is the Troy Trojans? There's going to be an article out at 4star.live on this as well. But this upcoming Saturday morning, 11 a.m., as John Stardom would say, it was 11 a.m. night game kickoffs. But this isn't Nichols. This isn't even Georgia State. They've got 5 Power 4, and I understand Memphis is not a, quote, Power 4, but they beat LSU at home. They beat Nebraska. They had 19 turnovers in those wins. We're going to talk more about turnovers in this program here in a minute, but as we set the identity, this program you've got to take serious. The second segment is going to be brought to you by Fanatics. Tiger fans, roar even louder in official Fanatics apparel. Get exclusive Memphis football drops from hoodies to collectives delivered fast. Don't just watch the game, own the moment. Head to fanatics.com and unleash your inner Tiger today. Jump over to the second segment as we talk offense. We talk about a Trojan offense that many people will look at the stats, and we're going to go over them now. But you look at the offensive stats for this team, and we'll do it from a Memphis and Troy perspective. So points, Troy so far has scored 54 points. They average 24 points a game. They average 19.5 first downs a game. They've have a total of 717 total yards of offense. They average 358.5 yards of offense a game. They average around 175 on the ground as well. No fumbles. They've thrown 3 interceptions. They've allowed 5 sacks. They're 50% on third down, 14 of 28. They've had an average time of possession of 31 minutes, 54 seconds. This is going to be another key of the game. You're going to hear this talked about later too. Penalties. 18 penalties on the season, 197 yards. They average 98.5 yards a game penalized. We look at it from the Tigers' perspective. They scored 83 points, 41.5 a game on average, 22.4 average of first downs a game. They have 833 yards of offense. They average 416 yards per game, 438 net rushing. They average 219 on the ground. They average 197 through the air. They have allowed 1 sack for 2 yards. The Tigers are 53% on third down, 10 of 19. The Tigers' average time of possession has been 29 minutes and 10 seconds. The Tigers have only been penalized 10 times for 100 yards, an average of 50 per game. You look at this offense for Troy, and it's very, very interesting. So they're replacing 64% of their passing yards. They're replacing 83.4% of their rushing yards and 77.1% of their receiving yards from last season. They lost dynamic duo Devontae Ross to Penn State, Damian Taylor to Ole Miss. That was the first pair since 2012 that have rushed for 1,000 yards and caught 1,000 yards receiving in a season. Only 5 offensive players have 6 or more starts entering this year, and they're linemen, 3 of them. Eli Russ has 22 starts. Peyton Higgins has 12 starts. Elijah Prather has 12. They anchor the front. Paul Bowling started the opener, 16th nationally in pass blocking per PFF. He had 100% efficiency, minimum of 65 snaps. Tay Meadows, breakout star. This young man is incredible right now, averaging 131 yards a game. That ranks 6th nationally. 7th in yards after contact, by the way. 3rd highest running back in the country per PFF. And per PFF, he's the best in the group of 5. Ran for a 186 and a touchdown versus Nichols. It's the 19th most in a game ever for Troy, by the way. Added 76 yards against Clemson elite defense. Quarterback, you got Goose. Don't call him Will. His name's Will Crowder. Don't call him Will. Name's Goose. Was named after the great Goose from Top Gun, for those of you that have seen the original. Transferred in, 3rd year in the program, came in from West Virginia. Memphis fans will remember him. He scored a touchdown last year and then left the game and never returned. Game-ending injury. But he can play. More importantly, he can move. He can run. Let's talk about speed from this Troy team. When you look at the Trojans, they're speedy. Thanks to the state-of-the-art technology through Catapult, Troy's strength and conditioning staff, led by, as the aforementioned Darrell Bauer, is able to track many athletes' aspects, including their top speed. Troy has 3 top players over 23 miles an hour this offseason. Last year's leader was Mojo Dorsch at 22.83 miles an hour. Troy enters the 2025 season with 9 players at 22 miles an hour or greater, compared to 7 a year ago. 5 of those players, 5 of Troy's top 6 fastest, are wide receivers. Top of which is Trey Taylor, 23.61 miles an hour. Mojo's behind him at 23.26. And you've got Jackson Thomas at 4th at 22.5. Right under him, you've got DJ Epps, 22 miles an hour. Ra Thomas, by the way, Ra Thomas is a name you need to know, Memphis fans. You need to know who this cat is. Came from Georgia, played at Mississippi State, can really go get the football, goes and gets it at the high level. He is a elite wide receiver. Elite. Plus, you go down this list and there's Goose Crowder, quarterback, 20 miles an hour. 3rd year in the program. Don't call him Will, though. He got, like I said, he got his nickname from his brother when they were younger. Their favorite movie was Top Gun. This young man can play. Keep your eye on him. He is going to be someone to watch. Goose Crowder, he's dual threat. When you look at Memphis last week against Georgia State, you look at what TJ Finley was able to do. You talk about Cameron Brown, the backup, a little bit of mobility, right? A little bit of mobility, but you got to get pressure on him. You got to get pressure on Crowder. Tight end Ethan Connor, 7 catches, 10.5 yards per catch. He's a red zone threat. Talked about the speed in the receiving core, but the receiving core is really, in a sense, kind of unproven in a way. But for the Tigers defensively, you got 3 interceptions. You got 5 sacks through 2 games. You got to keep pressure on Crowder. And then, at the same time, contain Tay Meadows, the running back. You got to contain him, but you also got to make sure your back end is able to stop these speedy wide receivers. You got to try to keep Troy under 20 points. Got to try to keep him on 20 points. When you look at the defensive side of Troy, they're a turnover machine. It's their calling card. It's what they do. They rank 5th nationally right now in forced turnovers they got since 2016. They've got 203, just behind Memphis that has 206. After a down year with 9 turnovers forced in 2024, that's the 4th fewest in FBS, by the way. They've already notched 3 in 2025, 2 picks, 1 fumble. Against Clemson, they held the Tigers to 316 yards, as I said earlier, the fewest by a non-Power 4 foe since 2010, limiting the Tigers to 3.9 yards per carry and 196 yards passing. They've held numerous opponents under 250 yards in each of the last 6 seasons. Only 1 of 4 teams, with Alabama, Air Force, and Georgia, to do so. Since 2022, they've held 21 of 39 foes to 19 points or less, and they're 18-3 record when they do that, and 33 games under 400 yards. And when they do that, they're since 2022, they're 25-8. Defensively, the front seven is deep. Luis Medina, 47 games, 16 starts. You bring in transfer from South Carolina, Elijah Davis. You bring transfer in from Houston and Ole Miss, Talik Robbins. You got the bandit position. Jordan Stringer is just incredible. They call him J-Rock. He's led Troy in tackles for 2 straight seasons. You pair him up with JUCO star Steve Kadich, 120 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, 10 sacks in 2023. Secondary, which has also been rebuilt with transfers. This team gets after the quarterback. Since 2017, they've had 284 sacks. That's 9th nationally. They've had 5 so far this season. The Tigers have only allowed 1 sack so far in 2025. Troy is gonna definitely test that. Memphis may very well come out of this game with more sacks. But if their offensive line can contain a deep front seven for Troy, this game may be in Memphis' hands very, very early. Very early. But you've got to control the trenches. If you're Memphis and you can control the trenches in this game, you have a major, major advantage. You look around the American right now, you look at South Florida, they're controlling the trenches. You look at Tulane, they're controlling the trenches. Memphis has to continue to do the same thing. You look at on the special team side of things, they got a punter, Evan Crenshaw. He's already boomed. He boomed 3 50-plus yarders in the opener. They've scored 17 points off turnovers this year. They're 25-0 since 2015 when rushing for 200-plus yards. They're 9-1 since 2022. Memphis is 5-0 when scoring 41 or more points in a game. If they can avoid turnovers and exploit a young secondary, the Tigers have a real opportunity to pull away and finish this game really quickly. But the path to victory for Memphis is not easy. It's not a cakewalk. Many people across the fan base questioned why Memphis was playing Georgia State, why Memphis was playing Troy. Well, I think they learned last week Georgia State's not a bad football team. They're going to learn Saturday. Troy's a really good football team. Troy's a good football team. They're a team that you have to keep an eye on, not only in the Sun Belt, but as a team that can sneak up on anybody. Think of Troy as a G5 version of Iowa. The program's built on forcing mistakes and grinding out wins. They have a defense that could really frustrate Lewis. But I think offensively, Memphis has 41.5 points a game. That's a lot of points. Like I said earlier, if the Tigers' front seven can bottle up Meadows, force Crowder into 3rd and long and into mistakes, Memphis could cruise to a win here. But you can't underestimate Troy. You can't underestimate going and playing. Not only are you playing Troy, you're playing them at Troy. In Troy, Alabama. Veterans Memorial Stadium is not an easy place to play. If it was, Troy wouldn't be 71-31 there since 2007. There's 17,324 people that live in the little bitty town of Troy, Alabama. But as I said earlier, this football program works tirelessly to keep those fans happy and give them the best program that they can. Since 2017, like I said earlier, they've won 74 games, folks. That is sixth most among Group of Five programs. There's continuity on the sideline. There's a history of success in year two in Troy. Like I said earlier, the name you need to know is Tay Meadows. Think of a young Kenneth Gainwell with more power. That's who Tay is. Currently, he's the best running back in the Group of Five. The Tiger fans toast to a Tigers touchdown without the buzz. Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic craft beers are crisp, refreshing, and perfect for pregame hype or celebrating that big Memphis win. Grab a pack at your local store and keep the energy high while being alcohol-free. Athletic Brewing Company. Head over there now, athleticbrewing.com/4-star sports. We talked about the defense, okay? They're turnover kings. The defense is scary. Their D-line's stacked, like we talked about. The offense has to be sharp. The offense has to be sharp. As we talked about, this is a season of change. There's things that Memphis fans have to embrace. One of those things is change. Brandon Lewis is not like any quarterback that's been at Memphis for the last 15, 20 years. He's just not. He's different. He operates differently. With that, Tim Cramsey gets to really expand and show how impressive of an offensive play caller he is. This week is going to be a test. Memphis may win the game handedly, but the game is not going to be a cakewalk. Memphis have to, they're wearing all white. We saw what they're wearing. The all whites. It's a good look. But you have to be ready. You have to wake up early. It's an 11 o'clock game. There's going to be breakfast and beer. But you've got to get ready. Because if you don't, you can get beat. You can get beat. Unlock the ultimate game day vibe with Sportbox Company. Our monthly subscription box delivers Memphis fans, kids, gear, snacks, fan essentials straight to your door. Perfect for tailgating, watching the Tigers dominate the gridiron. Go to sportboxco.com/4-star sports for more information on these incredible monthly subscriptions. It's time for keys to the game. You'll see these in an article coming up too. But number one, you got to protect the football. You got to protect the football. You have to win the turnover battle. You win the time of possession battle. You win the third down battle, as y'all know. That's my 3 stats. You win those 3 games, you win the ball game. Generally speaking. They've got 3 interceptions already. Number 2, got to contain Meadows early. And this is a 2-parter. Okay? You've got to contain him. I'm not saying that you're going to stop him, but you've got to contain him. Don't make it easy for him. Memphis only allows 83.5 rushing yards a game. They set the edge on this guy. He's talented, but if you can set the edge and you can keep him bottled up, it then puts more pressure on second part of part 2. It puts more pressure on Goose Crowder. If you can get your pressure on Goose Crowder and force him into some mistakes, like I said earlier, it could happen. It could happen. And thirdly, the Memphis defensive backs have got to be able to contain work with, be able to run alongside the speed that Troy has. We talked about it earlier. Incredible speed. Can they exploit it? Can they exploit the young receivers? Another one is penalties. We talked about it earlier, right? Troy's got 18 penalties on the season for 197 yards. That's discipline issues. That's where you can draw some flags. When Tigers score first, they're 15-3. 18-5 when leading at half. Undefeated when they lead after the third quarter. You got to get up. You got to just put pressure, immediate pressure on this team. I got to see Memphis come out and close them out. Close them out completely. You get up early. Troy's only scoring roughly 27 points a game. Memphis is scoring 41 and a half. Simple math tells you they won't be able to keep up. Big time ball game, week 3 for the Memphis Tigers. You win the turnover battle, you win the game. The offensive rolling. Tigers are 2-0 right now, coming into this week. Very well walk out of Veterans Memorial Stadium 3-0. But you've got to take care of the football. You've got to take care of business. You've got to play smart football. This Troy team's not a cakewalk, as we've discussed tonight for roughly 30 minutes. Appreciate everyone watching and listening. It's been a good night, as always. Show your stripes with Fanatics. Snag authentic Memphis Tigers jerseys, hats, and gear for the ultimate college football look from kickoff to the final whistle. Rep your team in style. Shop fanatics.com and gear up for glory. But appreciate everyone watching and listening tonight. We got a few questions. We're going to post them over on social media. But Troy's defense is tough, but can they stop Lewis? 197.5 passing yards should exploit the secondary if Memphis can avoid turning the football over, right? Another question, is Meadows for real? Yes. No question. He's for real. The question is, can Memphis, as I said earlier, key to the game, can Memphis keep him contained? I'm not saying can you stop him. That's not what I'm saying. He's going to get his. He's talented. Tigers could very well come out of this with a win, 3-0. You come out of this 3-0, you got Arkansas coming up next weekend, another 11 o'clock kickoff. That's a big ball game, SEC opponent, but you can't overlook the Sun Belt opponent in a back-to-back road game situation. Think back to last season. You beat Florida State, you turn around, you got to go to Navy. You don't beat Navy. That's one of your 2 losses on the year. 2025, hopefully, Memphis can not repeat that. But you look at the keys to the game, like I said, protect the football. You got to contain Meadows early. You got to exploit their young receivers. Defensive backs got to play well. Defensive backs have to have their head on a swivel. This team has a lot of speed, as we talked about. Another thing, this team's not, based on their penalties, there may be some discipline issues. Tigers got to get up early. But speaking of getting up early, we all got to get up early to watch that game Saturday morning. That's going to be an early one. But appreciate everyone watching and listening. Head over to 4star.live now. It's where we keep all of our content. We'll have this show uploaded here shortly. Head over to our social media at 4Star Sports M on X, 4Star Sports Media on Facebook, and 4Star Sports Media Network over on YouTube. We have multiple forms of content going on over there as well as, don't forget, we've got Arkansas hockey coverage coming up too. We'll have a show tomorrow on the Arkansas Razorbacks Hockey Club as they get ready to take a road trip to Missouri. But as we close, got to give a shout out to Coach Sherry Lindsay. As we close, here's a little clip of what she told us she does for Memphis softball.
For lack of better words, I'd be winning games. You know what I mean? I'd be winning games.